Shalom and welcome to Secrets Revealed, the Holy Bible. Today we're looking at Exodus chapter 2. There are 25 verses. Beginning in verse 2, the Septuagint says, fair. The male child was fair. It's talking about baby Moses. In the Masoretic, it describes him as a goodly child. So one appears to be more physical, which is based on appearance. So he's a beautiful looking child versus goodly, which could mean behavior. It could mean appearance as well, but it's just more explicit, I feel, in the Septuagint. Verse 3 says, they put him in the ark and put the ark in the ooze by the river. So that's a specific part of the river, the ooze, where it's like a swamp area. Verses, they laid it in the flags by the river's brink. So flags, I believe, is like a type of plant that grows near the water. And then we see here in verse 9, just ignore those ads. Verse 9 says, take care of this child. This is the instruction of the daughter of Pharaoh. Take care of this child. Versus take this child away. That's a big difference. One is saying, take care of the child essentially, versus just take this child away. Not saying that they're not taking care of it, but the instruction, this one part of the instruction is take this child away and nurse it for me, versus take care of this child and suckle it for me. So we can see in the Septuagint, taking care of a child isn't just feeding it. There's more. Taking care of a child is more than just feeding it. Versus in the Masoretic, taking care of a child is essentially feeding it. Doesn't really talk about anything else in regards to caring for the child. Verse 10 says, when it was grown, when the boy was grown, she brought him to the daughter of Pharaoh. So it says here in the empty, and the child grew. So he's still in the process of growing. He hadn't reached a certain point, but here it says, no, he had grown to a certain point. My assumption is that he has been weaned. He no longer needs breast milk. So he could be as old as young as, I'm going to say, 1 year old at the earliest to as old as maybe 5, depending on what age it was that they weaned a child. That length of time, okay, verse 11 says, that length of time, it came to pass in that length of time that Moshe, having grown, went to his brethren. So it's talking about a certain length of time. It may be a similar length of time compared to how he was weaned. So if it takes 5 years to wean, maybe it's another 5 years, maybe he's 10 years old. But we have to notice some important details in this account. So the Masoretic says, it came to pass in those days. It came to pass when Moses was grown. So you can see that this specifies a specific length of time versus in those days. It just says in those days as the child grew. But if he was still a child, how was it that he killed an adult Egyptian? Moses was most likely at least a teenager, as much as probably 20 years old. It's hard to say because it doesn't give us the exact age in the Septuagint or the Masoretic text. So in verse 14, we see here a very interesting statement that the Hebrew says to Moses when he tells him to stop fighting. He says, who made you ruler and judge over us? Will you kill me? Will you slay me as you yesterday slew the Egyptian? Will you kill me as you killed the Egyptian yesterday? Essentially, he's giving a very specific time. Yesterday, you killed an Egyptian. The Masoretic says, intend you to kill me as you killed the Egyptian. So it doesn't give a time frame. It could be days, weeks, or months. But here it says, no, this happened yesterday with Moses. We know about this already. The bad news spread very quickly. And then we see here, let me just move that a little bit. Okay, it didn't really move too much. It says here, verse 21, was established with the man. So Moshe was established with the man, talking about Reuel, their father, and he gave Zipporah or Sephora, his daughter, to Moshe for a wife. So that's much different than the way it's worded in the Masoretic. It says Moses was content to dwell with the man. So one is saying that Moshe had already established his reputation with the father of these daughters. So he was already established with them. Either Reuel knew about Moses in advance, he knew of his reputation, he knew that he was the son of Pharaoh's daughter, essentially. So, he gave him Zipporah for a wife, versus, Moses was just happy to live with the man. That's very different. Why would you just give someone your wife, or your daughter, I should say, if he's just happy to live with you? It's not really anything that was established, no relationship there. And the last verse we're looking at is verse 25. It says, God was made known to them in the Septuagint. How did he do that? Possibly opening their minds and eyes to him, the children of Israel. And the last one is versus the Masoretic, which says Elohim had respect to them. So it sounds like he had partiality or showing favoritism. But we can see in the Septuagint, no, that's not exactly what happened, because they weren't freed yet. He was just possibly opening their minds to his existence, probably calling them to prepare them for what is going to happen. He prepares people and tells them in advance things that are going to happen, especially to those who are following him. But maybe at this point, they might have forgotten their roots in terms of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and maybe he's waking them up again slowly, but getting them ready for Moses, who's about to free them. So thank you for your time. Jehovah bless you and make your way prosperous. This is Jack Knight signing off for Secrets Revealed, the Holy Bible. Shalom.